So when we're describing game effects, we tend to think in three different categories. The first one is the design effect, which is it's information given to the player. So is it good for you? Is it bad for you? Is it going to hurt or heal you? The second one is the feedback type of effect, something that's supposed to pop and reward the player, such as explosions or the gunshots, the decals. And the third one, the one that we focused on most of our time at Naughty Dog, is the narrative-based effect, the ambience of the level that's supposed to build up the tone and the intent of the narrative at that point. Okay, so with the cruise ship sequence of Uncharted 3, we wanted to make sure that the entire level was one unified experience. We wanted to make sure the player actually felt like he was on a boat in the middle of a giant stormy ocean. And what that meant is that not only do we have to have a giant stormy ocean in the background that's simming dynamically and looks real, we actually needed to make the entire level respond accordingly. So what we ended up doing is dynamically attaching the level, the characters, all the physics objects, all the pools, the water, the rain splashes, everything to the sim of the dynamic ocean. So you can see here as we walk in, the chandeliers that are swinging, they're actually swinging in a physically real way based off of the tilt of the boat that is attached to the giant waves and the turn of the ocean. So another example of that dynamic attachment concept is the cargo plane sequence also of Uncharted 3, where the entire plane is flying through the sky, dynamically simming and swinging around and stuff, and the character's actions, along with all the AI, the bullets, need to respond, and so do all of our effects. So tying all of these things together and embedding them correctly into the world was a really, really, really big challenge for us. So an example from The Last of Us, which was a much more deliberate and emotional game, for us as effects artists, it meant that we had to pay a lot more attention to the details instead of very over-the-top blockbuster art style of Uncharted. One of the things that I was very fond of when we're working on The Last of Us is that we took the time to look at the flashlight, which, you know, every game has a flashlight, but very few games actually look at what happens in reality. And what'll actually happen in reality is you move a light source further from a wall and closer to a wall is the lens elements actually slip and slide within the gobo. So as you can see, as Ellie's walking closer to the wall at this point, you can see the individual elements sort of rotating and dilating against the surface of the wall, and this was one of the many details that we tried to throw into the game to add realism and subtleties. So carrying on the subject of subtlety for the narrative in The Last of Us is the subject of the skies. We recognized really early on that the sky needs to help convey the mood of the level and the tone that the player is experiencing at this point. And the only way to really do that for a sky, to make it look real, is to actually make it move. So we spent a lot of time trying to find new ways to make the skies actually move, but maintain the art directability so they can still look as pretty as possible and be a matte painting. I think the point of the narrative-based effects is that they need to be subtle enough that they embed naturally into the environment and sort of accent the tone of what the narrative, what the story, and what the game design is trying to let the player feel. They need to be felt but not seen, and that's really sort of where this genre of art is starting to grow and what we're trying to push at Naughty Dog and in the games industry in general as an effects artist.